All right, now that we know how to navigate the course, I want to talk a little bit about some of the course resources that are available. So all of the book and resource distribution is done through the college, through the MyBooks program. So you pay a fee per credit hour, and then all of your mandatory class resources are covered. By default, you are opted into this, and you can opt out you need to opt out by September 9th. So if you want to pay for anything you need on your own and not pay kind of a standard fee and that just everything is covered, you need to do that by September 9th. If you're dual credit or you're in certain financial aid packages and stuff, you would also have your own book coverage, different fellowships, grants, different things like that. Dual credit, that's all outside of that. You're not in MyBooks. And if that applies to you, you would know who you are. If you don't, then you're in. If you don't know about that, you're in MyBooks. So we will have a textbook, but it is not a part of MyBooks. We are going to use the OpenStax Chemistry 2nd edition. That is a free textbook. You can view it online as a PDF or as a web view, whatever you would like, whatever you would prefer to do. You can buy a printed copy online, but it's not part of MyBooks, so that would be out of your own cost. We're going to do chapters 10 through 17, and then 20 and 21. I will never expect you to read the book. I will never assign book reading. I will always allow or suggest reading, associated reading, stuff that might be relevant, but I'm never going to expect you. These are the pages you have to read. We're going to have like book quizzes or something. I view the book as like a secondary resource. The PowerPoints and the videos that I make are the primary resource, and the book is an auxiliary or additional resource. For stuff you will need safety goggles for the lab. You will get some gloves. I will not require those. Some chemistry instructors and some chemistry classes require them, so that's why there's gloves. You can pick your gloves up in Moeller Hall, room 115A, but you can also get them yourself, and I have some extra goggles in the lab. Importantly, they are goggles, not glasses. So glasses, there's a space between the lenses and the face, and the earpiece is just rested over the ear. With goggles, they're flush with this forehead skin, and there's a tight strap. So we want goggles, not glasses. Glasses help with impacts, things flying at your face. Goggles help with splashes. When it splashes on your face, it could then run down into your eyes if you're using glasses. We will also need a code for the online homework system. This is automatic. So you automatically get access into the homework system. If you have opted out of MyBooks, you will need to pay for the single course at a later date. It's about $40, and you'll pay that online through the active system. They will prompt you. If you opt out of MyBooks, the college will basically send a list to active at a later date, and then active will ask you for the money. If you have any issues, if you're prompted to pay in the short term, let me know. Please do not give active money like this week. It would be in a future week. It'd be after September 9th that you would have to pay. So let me know. Do not pay active any money if they're asking for money this week. But otherwise, now I want to move to Blackboard. You can see where some of these resources are, where some things can be found around Blackboard. So when we're in the Blackboard shell, you'll note the online homework is right here. Again, that's a resource, the activation, that's going to be passive. You don't have to enter it. And we'll talk more about the homework in a little bit. I do want to show you where you can find the book. So it's going to be embedded within the week module. So we got week 1 here. And so you'll note we have the lab always at top. Then there's this week 1 learning resources. And week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, each module will have its own learning resources. And within there, you'll find a link to the textbook. There's also the learning goals, potential reference information, as well as related links. These are other videos or other ref resources related to the content, the material from this class. And so this is where you get to the book. So the book has 2 formats. You can click here and it will take you to the web page version of the book. And so this would be it takes you to chapter 10, you'll note, not like the main page of the book, because that's what we're doing in week 1. We're starting with chapter 10 here. And so you can hear the chapter 10 outline.
you can read about chapter 10 and then get into the different sections. And these are hyperlinks, so if you want to jump to the third section or whatever. And so for this first week, it's sections 1 and 2 of chapter 10, and there's these page numbers. You'll note if you go into 10, section 2, properties of liquids, there's no pages here. So how do you tell the page numbers? Well, in addition to the online, the web version of the book, there's also a PDF version of the book. It's again entirely free. You can download and keep this book. You can print it out if you want, like a 1,200-page chemistry book. But you can also always access this, download it, keep it, this PDF. And it does take a while to open because it's a really big document. But within this, you will note there are, where we got to scroll down a little bit before you find them. There are page numbers. Where'd the page numbers go? I guess we're only in the introduction here. There we go. There's pages numbers, right? So this is page 2. It is page 16 of the PDF, but it's page 2 of the book. So these page numbers are coming from that. So chapter 10, section 1, we're going to do page 476 to 478, and then 42 to 485. So if I'm in the PDF, if you get, I want to go back to the table of contents. This table of contents is hyperlinked. So chapter 10, section 1, it'll bring you to 10, section 1. And you'll note it was 476 to 478. So this is page 464. I need to fix those pages. So it looks like the page numbers got changed because it looks like they took out the intro. So you'd have to change the page number, or go to the page numbers that are there. I'll fix that here. And so they would be the associated pages. I think in the middle here, there's eventually some discussion of this, like, yeah, some of these contact areas and this geckos. I took that stuff out. Some of those things I removed. But the other kind of pages that are about these intermolecular forces and how the kind of roles these play. And then chapter 2 or section 2 also has relevant pages that you would look for, and I'll fix those. It looks like the book updated the particular PDF. So those pages, and again, the point of these textbook pages is not that they are like assigned reading. You have to read this and I expect you to know everything in there. But rather, this is an alternate description of the material that's being covered in lectures. I try to have my lectures not match like the format and examples from the book. So this is an alternative resource. You can read through this to kind of get more of a guidance about the material, other ideas about the material, anything like that. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, I'll fix these page numbers for the updated book format. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, which I think is about course communication. So you'll actually be able to contact me when I say, do you have questions?